Let's get to the big story now. On the big story, we look at the raid, it has been called, on Parliament that happened the day before yesterday. Was it called for? Was it necessary? The way it happened? Should things have happened the way they did? If you read the Daily Monitor, it juxtaposes the image of 1966 to 2017. The raid on Parliament back then compares and contrasts it to what happened this week at Parliament. A couple of things that stick out there, but anyway, let's dig in. My guests, Robina Babueteda, she is, Rona. She's the Legal Aid Service Providers Network Lobby and Advocacy Officer. Good morning, Rona.
Good morning.
We're glad that you could come. We also have with us, he used to be my colleague in the media until he realized, no, these journalism things, there's greener pastures the other side. But anyway, he says he's still one of us, and he certainly is. Chris Obore is the Director of Communications, Parliament of Uganda. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Joel. How are you?
I am well. How are you? Why are you looking at me like that? Say what you want to say.
You should respect the veterans.
Oh, yes, we do.
Yes.
And that's why we want the veterans to stay in the industry to mentor us, but now they have run away. So
I still mentor.
We are like sheep without shepherds.
Whom do I work with in Parliament? It's you.
Kweli?
There are almost 230 of you. You see? I'm no longer managing a small section in the newsroom. I'm managing a big group of you.
You have become very powerful.
You see?
Okay.
A big number of you, not just a few journalists.
We are going to dig in and see how you are doing that. But let me begin with you, Rona. I know that you folks in civil society held a press conference yesterday.
Yes, sir.
And you had concerns about what happened in Parliament.
Yeah,
Talk to us about your concerns briefly.
Good morning, viewers. Civil society is not an enemy to the government. That is one thing that the government ought to know. And our concern is about the evasion of civil society work. What happened in Parliament this week didn't start on that very day when it started. And our concerns as civil society started as and when the threats on civil society began. When we saw offices to our colleagues, ActionAid and GLIS, being sieged by security, and the manner in which the so-called legal search was done. The government knows very well the rules of procedure. They know the time when searches are supposed to be conducted. You come in at 5, when the search period is supposed to end, to begin your search. You have all staff under arrest. No communication, no nothing, and your search goes on for days. It starts at 5, people are held at ransom up to 1 in the night. So
you're saying what happened for civil society organizations is similar in a great way to what happened in Parliament?
I should say so, yeah. I should, because the rules of procedure are very clear. The Act, the NGO Act, which was actually passed by the members of Parliament, is so clear about the time and the manner in which searches on NGOs are supposed to be conducted.
All right, we will talk a little bit some more about the raid on NGOs and so on. But for a bit, let's focus on what happened in Parliament. Chris, I saw you walk into the chambers on that day when security operatives descended on Parliament and chaos erupted in that place. What did you make of the happenings on that afternoon?
Very unfortunate. But under a situation like ours, it's expected. One, because the members on the opposing sides are part of a group that are nurturing the country to a democratic path that we shall need. You know for sure democracy is an ideal. It doesn't work perfectly anywhere. But the beauty is in the pursuing that ideal. So as a country, I think Uganda is pursuing that ideal. And democracy being a discussion, it's a debate, it can sometimes be a difficult debate. It has happened elsewhere. It can be difficult because Parliament is a central opposition point where issues that affect wider people are discussed formally. And therefore, it's a place where interests agree, interests disagree. It's now the management of the agreement and the disagreements that matters. In this case, the interests are not agreeing. And both parties were saying, no, our interests must take the day. The government side is saying, this is what we are moving for. The opposition side is saying, no. There was a clash of interests. And sometimes it can be that nasty. Thank God there was no life lost, except the disruption. Some members and staff who got some minor injuries. And of course the disruption of the business. But we should expect it to be there.
We should expect it to be there. You seem to be condoning it.
No, no, no. I can tell you, if you understand the dynamics of public policy, it is not always agreement. There are moments where it can be difficult.
Let me just take you back to, there's a post here for December 18th, 2014 by Chris Obori. This should have been Facebook. You'll tell us whether or not this was by you. My message to Parliament: today as you break off for Christmas, know that your role in Uganda has diminished over time. We will get trust in you when you start boxing and kicking each other in the house over problems affecting the majority of the citizens. As of now, you are accomplices in the looting. Those of you who don't want what your colleagues are doing, throw away decorum and just fight. It's after the fight that real debate and negotiation can occur. Diplomacy and parliamentary behavior has not saved the country from looters. Change tactics, tear your suits, and break tables.
Of course, that was my post.
And you still believe this today?
What are my opening remarks? Because first of all,
so Chris Obori, you're saying that if MPs disagree, let them break the microphones, beat each other up, Parliament is raided, and there's commotion, people get injured. That's what you're saying?
Yes, listen. I expect this because this is how Uganda is. I have told you. First of all, if you read that post, it is talking about issues affecting majority of Ugandans. Do you believe on issues affecting Ugandans, majority?
There's very many of them. As of yesterday, we learned that 10 million Ugandans are poor.
Do you believe that those issues must be discussed vigorously?
Oh, yeah.
Then what are you discussing?
Do I believe that people should be beaten and so on, and Parliament should be raided because of those issues?
I have told you, the Americans you quote had American Civil War. Was it drinking tea? Was it? I'm telling you today, what you're doing here, some people went to Luero and died. Were they dancing in Luero, a disco?
So are you faulting the Speaker for suspending these people because you are saying, look, the decorum of Parliament was abused and so people were suspended, but you're saying, no, it's okay.
What for? The views of Obore, the citizen, are his entitlements. But the behavior of Parliament is laid down, the rules of procedure.
So which Obore then is this speaking?
Yes,
is it Obore the citizen or Obore the Director of Communications at Parliament?
I'm both. When have you stopped being a citizen since you became a journalist of NTV?
Okay, and so this Obore, who is Director of Comms of Parliament, is telling us that it's okay for MPs to fight, beat each other up.
I knew, the reason why I came here, I was invited by NBS. I knew you wanted to scandalize Obore on this.
No, we want to give you an opportunity to have your say and to clarify this on these matters.
An opportunity because he didn't fight in the Parliament. The issue
he speaks for those guys that
yes, the issue is issues of public nature. It is arrived through bargain. It's arrived through a debate. And a debate anywhere, if you call it a debate, is a clash of ideas and views. And it can be sometimes nasty. By it being nasty, it doesn't mean it's desirable.
So, Robina, there are other people, by the way, that
hold on, are we agreeing?
On whether people should beat each other up because they disagree? If the
situation can become nasty, does it become desirable?
No, because you're saying that actually should happen. Because in your post here, you're saying, look, throw away the decorum, beat each other up. Meaning it's desirable according to you. That's what you're saying. Because you're saying you still stand by this post.
If the views of the majority of Ugandans are not taken care of,
people should beat each other up, so they should get beaten.
Even by the Constitution. Have you read the Ugandan Constitution?
Oh, yes, I'm a student of law.
Don't pick it selectively. You're a student and not the lawyer then. Don't pick a constitution selectively.
So which part of the Constitution says that people should be beaten? Security operatives should get to Parliament. What point are you driving?
Now you're going to the security now. Can I explain now the security?
Because that's part of it, and we'll get to it. But let me first hear out. Then I'll ask you about the...
I want to address
you see, Chris, we invited two people here.
Okay.
I'll get to you on the security issue. So there's other people, Rona, that think that see things like Chris, and then they're entitled to truth, and they say, you know what? Sometimes, you know, the gloves have got to be put off, and it's got to be bare knuckles. And yet some of you folks, especially in civil society, are saying, no, let's get to the table and let's discuss. But some people think, no, discussion alone doesn't work. It does not make the cut.
I just want to understand Chris's definition of majority. When you say the views of the majority, are we talking about majority in parliament, or we are talking about majority of the Ugandans? I think here his definition is about majority in parliament. But the Constitution... No, Chris.
Read the post again. No,
listen,
read the post.
No, I'm not reading the post, but I'm explaining, I'm talking about your explanation. Beyond the post, you said if the issues of the majority, wasn't that your statement? And here the majority question on my side is, who are we talking about? Are we talking about the majority in parliament, or we are talking about majority?
Or you need me to answer
I don't need your answer, because I know what you are going to explain. The issue here is, we are talking about majority of the Ugandans, not only as represented in parliament, but also as we exist out there. The issue that happened in parliament was provoked. If we begin discussing what happened on the day that, I don't want to even call it the members who, the opposition members, but rather I should say we should look at it as members who are opposed to the lifting of the age limit. Because it's not only the FDC, the DP, members of parliament who are opposed to this lifting of the age limit. There are several, even from the movement side, who are not with those who are for the lifting of the age limit. So let us look at the provocation side first.
By who?
Honorable Anita, when you say we are in power, we have the support of the Majay, and then you wake up in the morning, entering into that house where you think you must be protected, and one member from the side that has the Majay, has the support of the Majay, enters with a gun, are you safe? And when we say we cannot proceed with one member, just a moment, Chris, you were speaking, I was quiet. Chris, I need your defense. He was talking and I was quiet. No.
It's okay, you may disagree with what she says, but let her say it out, then I'm going to come to you.
In our disagreements, I listened to all that you were saying, but I also want you to listen. Because what I'm saying is, if we are threatened, there was a threat of life, and someone saying, yes, we have the protection, we have the support, and a person from that same party enters with a gun, and the opposition side or the people opposed to the lifting of the age limit are saying, no, we cannot proceed with a gun in the house, our lives are at stake. What confirms it, that it was true, their fears were true, is the suspension of the same member of parliament by the speaker.
So there's a question that is on our screen there. The question is, was the raid on parliament called for?
First of all,
I'm putting that question
I must
to you.
Respond. Don't be diversionary, Joel. Don't use tactics.
No, but I'm asking you a question.
What do you mean tactics? Raised issues that touch the conduct of parliament and the speaker. You don't let it go because there's another question.
No, you can respond to that.
First, I want to respond. Are you a member of opposition or you're civil society?
I am civil society. I am not a member of the opposition, and I am non-partisan. Our role as civil society, you ask, can I please respond?
I didn't ask your role. I asked, are you a member of opposition or...
The explanation comes with that.
No, you said you are not.
I am not.
Thank you.
But I'm analyzing situations as they come.
Can you now let me address my matter? I've known you are not a member of opposition.
Sure,
yes.
I am not.
So like Joel is not a member, Joel sees good and bad in opposition. He sees good and bad in government.
Absolutely.
That is what they call a person who's non-partisan. So far, I've seen only bad you see from parliament, nothing good. That is your opinion. You are entitled to it. Now, let me tell you the issues of the gun. And I want to address this very seriously. Part of our problem, Joel, is civil society. That is
how so?
Closed in hypocrisy, closed in self-righteousness, and closed in unfounded propaganda. Devoid of facts, media appeal.
What do you mean by that?
Just appearing in the media. The issue of the gun in the house was handled by the Speaker of Parliament. She came and said, I had information, a member entered this house with a gun. And for that information alone, I'm suspending this member and have this matter investigated. The member has not even been given a right to be heard. A lawyer is concluding there was a gun. You know this kind of
The Speaker concluded there was a gun.
Come on, Joe, listen.
That's why she suspended
the
the
Speaker
member.
never concluded. She said, I refer this matter to the committee to investigate this matter.
So why did she suspend him?
Why did she suspend
Because
him?
already the allegations were grave. And a suspension is not a dismissal.
But she's making the same allegations.
Do you blame the members of
although
Parliament who are against that?
Don't defend this hypocrisy in civil society.
And by the way, hypocrisy is a big
hypocrisy.
word. You need to also explain to us why you call
Yeah,
them
sure.
hypocrites.
Yes, you need to explain
Okay,
that.
tell us, why do you
Yeah.
call them
These
hypocrites?
are the people today who are saying, oh, members of opposition have been brutalized. But these are the same people who have been saying, those MPs, none of them is useful. Today, the opposition are useful because what they are doing
We
is
are
able to
looking
make
at
her
the violations.
make a survival.
We
Chris,
are looking at the
okay,
violations.
just a second. Can you
Human
two
rights
give me the
violations.
floor for a second?
They don't-
I am in charge here, don't
Yeah.
worry.
Yeah,
Please.
you're in charge.
And
Yes,
let me
so-
just take you back to
so
what you
let
said
me-
earlier on. Just hold on a second.
Let me address
Earlier
the
on,
question of
I think
election.
we
you're
need
going
to
to address
listen.
it. Don't
Yes.
worry. You said earlier on that for those of us who don't belong to any political party, we see good and bad in the opposition, we see good and bad in the NRM. That means when there is good that's been done, you give credit. When there's bad that's been done, you criticize.
what good-
and
what
so in
good
this case,
according
when
to her as
you
Parliament
say
done? Tell us the good here
just
first.
hold on. I am
Please.
saying
Yes.
because you have said that previously they have said that all MPs have issues and so on, corruption and that kind of thing, so they get to criticize them. But then again, because of what you're calling objectivity, when they see that there is an issue, an attack by this side and the other, they come out to critique.
No,
I'm
when-
thinking that should
when-
be a
when they
good
are
thing. Actually,
self-righteous,
that's not hypocrisy.
they- to them-
If something is good,
No, no,
you
Joel,
condone it.
Joel,
If something
listen,
is bad, you
Joel,
condemn it.
listen, there's what we call self-righteous. They used it. You need for them, they believe they have the conscience. They know they have the lines to which to judge everyone as civil society.
This is not
and
judgment.
no one can judge them. That's what I'm telling you. That's the hypocrisy.
So
they
this is-
define what the yardstick is for everyone. And you ask them,
Is that a crime?
Where is your locus?
Because they're Ugandans too, they have a say.
Then
They should
everybody
have
has a right, including MPs. Where is the locus?
Are they saying you shouldn't have a
Can I
say?
speak?
That's exactly what they are saying.
Okay.
Can I,
So
please,
let me
address
can I
the-
please
no,
say
no, no,
something?
It's okay.
Can you-
We are
can
saying
you
this
allow me to
matter.
say something?
We are going to address the
No,
question. Don't
no.
worry.
Can you
Joel,
allow
you
me
have
to
some
say
time?
Let me address the rate.
I am going to come
challenge
to it,
is-
but
this
let
is
me
not-
first
this
This
respond
one
to
doesn't
this.
work in Parliament.
Chris, let's be
I don't
organized.
work in Parliament.
And now,
She is a
no, no,
citizen
no.
who has
I am a
MPs that
citizen.
represent her.
here is the raid.
Chris,
No, no, no,
Obore.
no. If he cannot,
No, we are going to
no,
be
if he cannot
organized. You
allow us
see,
to speak,
No.
In Parliament, which you
I
speak
have
for,
said-
there is a speaker
you
who
said-
takes charge.
Yes.
On this show, Chris Obore,
If he
there is
cannot-
a
if he
moderator who
cannot-
takes charge.
yeah, sure.
And I am saying,
speaker-
you
if he
both be
cannot
quiet
listen-
and let me take
Do you want the
charge.
speaker to be
Are you
listened
able
to?
to?
Do you want the speaker to be
So
listened
can you listen to me, the moderator?
Let me ask you.
Chris Obore,
Uh-uh.
can you listen to me,
I'm
the
going to listen to
moderator?
you.
I'm in charge
Do
here.
you want as a speaker to be listened to? You as the moderator.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Good. Now you are behaving yourself. So I have given her the floor to respond. Then I'll come back to you.
Thank you. Before he interrupted, I was still explaining a situation. And the problem is, if you begin judging before a statement is concluded, then you're likely to end up into misjudgment. It was a question. If a member who is suspected to have a gun in the house is suspended, what is the implication, or what does that portray to the rest of us who are watching? That was a question. But when he says, I judged what the speaker did, then he is wrong about that. And then we go back to civil society. He is calling us hypocrites. That you're entitled to your opinion.
And self-righteous
and,
people.
you're entitled to your opinion, Obore, and I would request that, as you said, we need to respect each other. As much as I'm respecting you, I think you really need to respect me as well and respect my opinions. What I'm saying is, we as civil society, when we say legal aid service providers, and we are saying human rights violations, abuses, impunity going on, we are not basing ourselves on what demands or what we have as LASPNet or as what we have as ActionAid. We are following what the laws of Uganda say. If you have people brutally arrested, beaten, for us, that's an abuse. When you are arresting someone, it doesn't call for beating up, squeezing their private parts, hitting them on the heads, hospitalizing others. We are saying, yes, if you need to arrest, do it in a humane manner. It's clear in the Constitution.
And I agree with you.
And when we come out and condemn and we blame the security in the manner in which those arrests were effected, and then you say we are hypocrites, no, it is our role and duty to protect human rights defenders. We've had lawyers arrested for going in to apply for bail for human rights defenders and activists who have been arrested and detained. So when we come out to make noise over that, what is the reason for arresting a lawyer who is playing their role?
All right.
Who is just doing their duty?
Now that she talks about arrests and so on, Chris, you can get to answering our question.
Exactly.
Was the raid on
Because
Parliament
now,
called for?
I thought it was about what happened in Parliament. That's why I came. Now she's talking about the executive behavior and what, to which I agree with her. Even me, nobody should be arrested the manner that is demonizes them. And I'm on record on saying that. I said no one should be arrested like that. But I even one time said also, but we also need to tell some of our people, sometimes when you overprovoke the people who are armed, there are times when they are being stoned. That also must be condemned. That's what I meant by being a neutral arbiter. It's not only seeing what the other ones are doing and not seeing what the rest are doing. That's why I said you must, if you choose not to be partisan, you must see wrong on either side. There are times where citizens also have actually gone to stone the armed forces, and they are human. But armed forces are not justified to dehumanize people they are arresting. They must be trained to understand how to deal with the people. We are in agreement to that point. I don't see any disagreement. I only disagree when we perpetually think there is wrong in Joel, and therefore Joel is an epitome of being wrong.
Like you think about civil society, because you're saying
Yeah,
they are
that's what he's
hypocrites,
saying.
they are
Yes,
self-righteous,
he's
so it's wrong entirely in them. Do you see anything good in them?
do you
Can
see
you talk to
anything
us
good
about
in
that?
civil society?
What good do you see about these civil society organizations?
Very good. I have worked with civil society. I know even the actors in civil society. Personally, I have supported them. I have seen how Anti-Corruption Coalition has worked hard in this country. I've been helping them in research sometimes to do this thing. The person which they do their job. But I've also seen...
So you're also a hypocrite.
Yes, but I've also seen so many...
He's also a hypocrite.
I've seen so many corrupt civil society officials who even talk about corruption. I even have documents in my house up to today.
So do you throw the baby out with the bathwater?
You get the point. So that's what I'm saying. When you come out as civil society, you must be able to be non-partisan as you proclaim. But if you come because you have space to speak, when for us we have your audit reports in our houses, and now that I am not supposed to be doing that, if I also say this one is corrupt,
why don't you expose the corrupt ones?
That's not my work.
Because otherwise then now it's your hands here.
So the point now is, was the raid of Parliament, what is the question called
Was
for?
the raid on Parliament called for?
First, depends on how you choose the ones. Let me give you a chronology of the event. You saw me even in the chamber. On Tuesday, a house is at. The speaker presided over it. You get it? Business even started. Then, commotion. The red ribbon, everything. The speaker sat still. Called on everyone. Please, please, let's have order in this house. Please. She couldn't. She was overwhelmed. She could not even be heard. Some people were even going for her microphone. And I've talked about respecting you even as a host here. You can imagine how the speaker was not respected. Whenever I asked you want me to respect you, he said, yes, I respected you. But she was not respected. She had to in the house. The next day comes, the house sits, he says, under the rules of procedure, the speaker must be heard in silence. At least for you, you can allow us to exchange with you. In parliamentary rules made by the same MPs, the speaker must be heard in what? Silence. And there are penalties for violating that rule. It is known to anybody who is a member of parliament. Rule 79, 1 and 2, Rule 8, they all have it. Rule 8 provides even if a matter is not in the rules, the speaker makes discretion. Everything the Honorable Speaker did was within the purview of the rules of procedure. Now, if people have become around and she names them, and says, Joel, you violated this rule. Joel, you did this. You leave the house. And the rule says, when the speaker suspends you, you have to walk out. That is the rule. If you don't walk out, the speaker will invoke the authority of the sergeant at arms to evict you. Indeed, the speaker called the sergeant at arms. The sergeant at arms, Joel, was also brutalized, including injuring our staff. He had to get stitches in the eye to the hospital. That is what happened in the parliament. Now, when the sergeant at arms was overpowered, the next line of defense was the police that exists in the parliament. Sergeant at arms now had to seek that support. Once the police takes over, parliament now does not know how the police conducts, whom do they call? Because our own mechanism of having order in the house was overwhelmed. That's what happened in parliament. So there is no rule that the speaker offended in discharging her duties. And look here, one side is saying there must be a debate on this. And it's a right of every member, by the way, including the opposition members, to bring private motions in the house. And nobody should stop a motion. They know that. The only thing, the circumstances on this are so politically heightened that members now are not wanting to listen to the other. The NRM members are saying, we have under the law, we are entitled to bring a motion. The opposition is saying, we will not allow you to bring this motion. And Ugandans are expecting Parliament to decide on these two contentious issues.
So do I hear you, Chris Obore, condemning the fight that broke out in Parliament? Yes or no?
The violation of the Speaker's rules.
Do you condemn the fight that broke out in Parliament? Yes or no?
The fight was unfortunate. In as far
so
as
it should not have happened, meaning you condemn it, yes or no?
I am saying, don't put my words in me.
I'm just asking you.
I'm not an envelope, somebody says. I'm a brain person.
So yes, you're going to answer my question. So do you condemn the fight that broke out in Parliament?
The fight with who?
You've not seen the pictures there, Chris Obore? The fight that broke out and people got injured on both sides because, like you're saying, some sergeant at arms officials got injured, MPs got injured. We understand some SFC officials got injured too. Well, the security operatives, whoever they are, whichever they are, because police said they called on security operatives. That's according to IG.
What I condemn is the disrespect of the Speaker's office.
What do you mean by that?
By not listening to the Speaker.
And by the fighting that goes
on.
This is what disrupted this Speaker's
the
speech.
fighting in Parliament is not unique to Uganda.
So it is okay.
So if it happens, let it not happen at the expense of the Speaker's orders.
But how can it happen and not be at the expense of the Speaker's orders?
Because you see, if you fight and the Speaker tells you stop, you must stop.
So the fighting is okay, only as long as it stops when the Speaker says stop. Is that what you're saying?
It is very important.
Come again?
It is very important. When the Speaker says stop, stop.
So it's okay to fight, but when the Speaker says stop, then you stop.
It is important.
Then you can fight again, but when the Speaker says stop, you stop. That's okay.
It is important. That's how the House should run. The Speaker is the supreme authority. Because fighting, there is no way she sits on her chair and stops members here who are fighting. Members can box each other.
And it's okay.
You have seen that in Parliament.
According to you.
The Speaker is the one to make a decision.
On what? No.
Yes.
Don't mix up.
We have seen the fights in South African Parliament. We have seen it in Pakistan. We have seen it in India. We have seen
That's
it in
like we have seen corruption elsewhere. It doesn't make it okay when it happens here.
There are situations where you cannot avoid a fight. That's what I'm telling you.
Robina, you wanted to come in.
Yes. Thank you so much. I'll get back to what Chris Obore is saying about rules of procedure, and I think this is what concerns us as civil society the most. At least, given what you've explained, looks like you really appreciate what the rules of procedure are. And now my question to you, I request for an answer. At what sitting is the suspension of a member of parliament supposed to take effect?
That is a very obvious thing. If you have ever seen our rules, it is supposed to be in that sitting.
No.
But what are you talking about?
It is not.
Now, where are the rules?
Your rules of procedure are very clear.
That what?
In the situation, I'll just take the example of the situation, whereby the pronunciation of the suspension was made on the very day the members of parliament were evicted out of parliament. And yet the rules of procedure are clear that it takes effect on the next sitting. That is where the whole commotion started. Because the members who were saying no to the eviction knew that the rules of procedure require that the moment the pronunciation is made in this very sitting of our suspension, we are not supposed to appear in the next session.
And that's why
And
I
that's
kept hearing
where
them shouting procedure,
very,
Madam
yes, and that's where it all started from. I don't want us to apply the rules of procedure.
Under what rule are you quoting that one?
And it's 67B. But at least you know.
Sorry for you.
No. It's a rule. You know it. And
you're a lawyer, right?
Yes,
So there's a lawyer,
I
then
don't
there's
have
the
to.
Director of Communications
I'm
of
not
Parliament.
lawyer. I don't have to. I don't have to have the law off head, but I have to know where I find the law. And between me and you, we both know that it is on the next sitting. It is very clear. And the parliamentarians who are saying...
Can I give you the answer you wanted? You said that you need an answer from me.
Can I first finish my bit?
It is explanation, not a question. Okay, go explain.
Yes, it's a question. I said I will need an answer from you.
Please, you continue.
At what sitting? And you said, in that very sitting, you responded. And I was correcting you. Yes, he did. He responded. He said, that very sitting where it was pronounced is when they were supposed to be evicted.
Okay, so that's the interpretation of the law, of the rules. What do the rules say, Director of Communications?
The rules say...
And you quote for us the rule you're saying.
Yes.
Rule number?
Rule 79(1)(2), Rule 80, and there's Rule 8. I'm going to explain to you. It says the members must be named. Okay? Named. And if a subsession must take place, it must take place in that sitting. The suspension must be announced in that sitting by the Speaker. But there is Rule 8, where it says, if a matter is not provided for in the rules, the Speaker makes a ruling. In this case, the Speaker should have suspended them on Tuesday. But the Speaker even explained the communication from the chair. Very clear, the statement is there, that I would not even be allowed to state anything. And because of that, I should have done this yesterday. I'm invoking Rule 8 to do this now.
Meaning that you agree. You agree with me when I say the procedure, the rules of procedure, require that the suspension takes effect in the next sitting.
No,
you agree with me?
No, you are just not listening. I don't know. Maybe
No,
that's why
I am
you can
listening.
practice law.
No,
So
I am listening.
She's saying
I am
that
listening.
rule is there. By the way, practicing law is not just going to court.
It's not just going to court.
Just to give you information.
You can never go to court.
I do go to court.
Okay,
I do go to court.
That's why I don't know you as a lawyer.
But what I'm saying is, you don't have to know me by the way.
Yeah, a good lawyer has to be known like a good journalist.
No. It's not a must that you need to know me.
Chris.
But
seriously, her point of contention here is...
He's not Uganda. If you do not know me, others know me.
That the rules of Parliament are that...
But you know,
that's our biggest concern.
Do you know that she was the first woman to open a law firm?
That is our biggest concern.
Okay, do you know that the moderator...
is the Speaker.
Anyway, seriously, her point of contention is that when the Speaker suspends people, according to the rules, her interpretation of them, the suspension takes effect at the next sitting.
No.
Do you agree or
not? Then why would she be telling them to vacate?
And why was she saying she
Why
would
does the
have...
Speaker tell you to vacate?
Now the question is, why would she have said, I should have done this yesterday?
Because...
No.
Listen,
first wait. Why is she saying, I should have done this yesterday? But because I could not be listened to, she knew that she was supposed to make the pronunciation during that very sitting for the suspension to take effect in the next sitting, which should have been...
Are you saying, Rona, a quick question to you, Rona, are you saying that if, the Speaker feels somebody has gotten out of line, the Speaker cannot suspend that person immediately?
She can pronounce it immediately.
And have you evicted immediately?
And
are you saying
but not in the manner in which she cannot just say...
your point of contention then is
following the rules of procedure, the manner in which this was done. The procedure that was followed in doing this
information
was not the right. Can I first? Can you
before
allow me to speak?
Because
I gave him time to speak.
Titles.
No, I gave him time to speak. Can I also be allowed to speak?
Please make it.
And because he is saying, yes, well, the Speaker can do. We all believe that the Speaker of Parliament has all powers, but which powers are also manned by rules of procedure.
That's what she did.
And
you are just not understanding the rules. Let me teach
but
you.
We are telling you. No.
Like
I don't. No, you cannot. You cannot teach me this. No, you won't teach me this, Chris. You won't teach me this. Because if no, Chris. When he is speaking,
okay, just wind up people, and then I'll get to him.
Yeah, what I am saying is the rules of procedure were violated. The Speaker acted ultra vires through their own rules of procedure, and then also Our biggest concern was the manner in which the opposed members of parliament were thrown out of the house. He says, when the sergeant at arms was overpowered, he called in for support. Who are these people that came in that brutally manhandled the speakers of parliament? And he says they don't know how police manage the events thereafter, whoever they called, meaning that really there was no protection of members of parliament in that house on that day. And for us, that is our concern.
Let me bring you, Chris, here in. And Chris, as you come in, you are the Director of Communications of Parliament. And for that matter, you speak for Parliament. You speak for members of Parliament, literally saying. So these people, these MPs that you speak for, no, don't try and, split hairs here. These members of Parliament that you speak for, do you think they were handled in a proper manner as they were being bungled out of Parliament?
Do you think, first of all,
those images that you're looking at?
You are rotating the same question I answered before.
You actually did not answer that specifically.
Nobody deserves to be arrested badly. We're talking here.
So do you think the MPs were arrested badly?
I also told you, nobody deserves to attack security forces. Now, what do you want me to keep saying?
So are you saying, because you need to be very clear and you need to be unequivocal, are you saying the MPs were arrested badly?
The MPs also behave
First answer that one. Did the MPs get arrested badly?
They did. They did get arrested badly. I cannot support that. But how did they get there?
So when we say that is wrong.
Let me address the issue of the procedures is misleading people. And please allow me to explain as a spokesperson for Parliament. Don't behave like civil society knows everything. Like now she says she's devoid of that.
No, they have the right to share their thoughts.
Interpret these rules.
The Speaker of Parliament acted ultimately, totally, rightfully within the rules. There is no rule that the Speaker violated. And if there is that rule, like you are masquerading to ask the public to give you, to go to court, please go to court. But for you to keep saying the Speaker acted badly as if you are the first lawyers Uganda has ever got, it is wrong. The Speaker of Parliament pleaded 3 times. Police members leave. They refused. She called in Sergeant at Arms. They refused. Sergeant at Arms was actually hurt. And the police came in. If you're asking who are those people, the IGP has come out to say, I conducted the operation as the police. So what do you want? What more do you want to get? You are the one who reported yesterday.
Okay, we are going to engage our viewers. There's a number that's going to run on your screen, so you can get in touch with us and share your thoughts. Please, when you call, just hold on for a second. When you call, remember to reduce the volume on your TV set so we can get to hear you.
So the Speaker of Parliament, that you are demonizing today. Because
but then we're just asking questions. I don't know where you're getting the word demonized from.
Civil society is demonizing. She has acted as a bias.
No.
Don't they have a right anyway to criticize the Speaker? Is the Speaker above reproach?
The Speaker you are criticizing today has stood firm for Ugandans more than this civil society here.
Yeah, so when she does good, give her credit. When she does bad, in their opinion, criticize her.
When members of Parliament were at risk, being thrown out of that Parliament, she stood even against her own party. Honorable Sechikubo, Honorable Tinkasimire, will you agree with me that if Rebecca Kadaga had not stuck again to the rules of Parliament, if Rebecca Kadaga had not insisted on following the law, they would not have completed.
Mr. Boy, you seem to be saying that if you do something good today and you do something bad tomorrow, we should ignore it because you did good today.
What I'm saying, it is wrong for an untested lawyer to question the lawyer who has seen.
Where did you get that?
I don't know. No. So, okay, Chris, I'm not going to allow Chris No.
Rebecca Kadaga
Joel, I'm not going to allow
that's diversionary.
No, you cannot say that to me. I deserve to be respected.
In this country,
you understand?
On a matter, all of you went for money as
Joel,
and that's okay. Now we are on this one. Forget about those others.
He did not educate me.
Before I pick the phone calls, I'm going to allow her to make a reference. Just make a quick reference and then I'll pick the phone calls.
You did not.
Christopher, let's hear from her now.
Support Kadaga when she stood for the issues of Uganda.
Let's hear from her now. And then I'll pick phone calls.
Okay. Having a voice to shout And having the ability to abuse doesn't make you any better than me.
No, but what
I
is-
might not abuse you, but
No.
I went through
Who
the
has,
law
been,
school.
who has been abused?
Because if you begin thinking that I am not tested, you don't have to test me to know that I'm a lawyer. You understand that?
Okay,
But
so
if I
just
say,
make a quick reference there.
can
and
he
then
interpret? Okay, he is the best lawyer in the
But you are
country.
quoting your notebook.
Can
He did not go to law school.
Can you?
Those are your notes. I can't
No.
answer your notes.
But of course, why not? Can you?
Those are your subjective notes. You don't even have the rules of
you
procedure.
say,
Just
I
make
might
the
not
reference,
carry them
make the
here,
reference.
But I'm making reference to Rule 67(4). He says he's the best lawyer here. Can he interpret
not.
what that law says?
I've interpreted for you to understand.
No, I am giving you the rule of procedure.
These
that
are your
following.
notes. Where are
I'm
the rules?
looking at what
This is a notebook.
I
Joy.
don't have to carry the rules of procedure of Parliament.
All right,
Yes,
all right.
yes, yes.
No, 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 I
You understand? This is what I'm talking about.
Gentleman and lady,
64.
Respect,
I'll-
respect the Speaker of Parliament.
I am respecting the Speaker of
When
Parliament,
all
but
of you
I
were
am
going for
not
money
with you.
from donors over homosexuals,
Actually,
she's taking her political career.
I am supposed
for
to respect
Uganda.
the Member of Parliament
Yes.
as much as I can.
Yes,
the Speaker
do.
I will respect, but I'm going to refuse to respect you when you begin disrespecting me.
Okay,
But
gentleman and lady,
I don't have to respect you at
let's
all.
respect the viewers
Well,
by
the
allowing them to
speaker should
contribute.
reform.
Chris Obore,
Against even her own
let's
party.
respect the
She
viewers.
was alone.
Hello, good morning. Hello,
Hello,
good morning.
morning.
What's your name, sir?
I'm called Joseph,
Yes, Joseph.
and I'm calling from Bale.
Joseph from Barre. Talk to us in 20 seconds, Joseph.
Well, it's absurd that ever since Chris switched sides and got a party job.
A party job?
Yes, when he got a job in Parliament.
Ah, okay. Because his job is for Parliament, not for a party. But
I
go
should
ahead.
have got it in
Yeah,
Shamba.
Chris, let's allow him to
A
speak.
party meaning a big job in Parliament. He has now started talking for his stomach instead of using his brain. So I think it was absurd what happened. I expected him to come and criticize and apologize. But trying to shout the lady is so unfortunate. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Joseph. Brief to the point. I pray that whoever we pick shall be precise and concise, straight to the point. Hello, good morning. Hello,
Hello.
good morning.
Good morning, Joel.
What's
How
your
are
name,
you?
sir?
Yeah, this is Hussein from Bali.
Yes, Hussein.
I'm totally disappointed with Chris. Having
Why?
been the man we expected to be patriotic, he's the one talking nonsense, supporting people being brutalized in the parliament, when at one time he asked Amama Mbavazi that you are the one who made the laws and they are against him. This time he is supporting the same people to brutalize Ugandans in front of cameras, in front of the parliament, the honorable house in the house. That's the Chris now we are seeing. When
Okay.
we expect him to be so patriotic so much.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, Hussein. Okay, we'll pick somebody else. Let's be as brief so that we can pick a few more as time allows. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello, good morning, Senor.
Good morning to you. What's your name, sir?
I'm called Mugisha Bod, I'm calling from Cheka.
Mugisha Moses. Talk to us in 20 seconds, Mugisha.
Yeah, I want to ask Chris. The law says when you're not appeased with the speaker's ruling, you have to appeal that ruling through a motion on the floor of Parliament. When Honorable Samuju stood up to raise something, the speaker stopped him. When the leader of opposition stood up to say something, the speaker stopped her. So, what did he want those members of opposition to show their concern?
Okay, thank you.
How did he want the speaker or those members of opposition to appeal to the speaker's ruling?
Okay, thank you, Mugisha. We do get your question. Hello, good morning. Hello,
Hello.
good morning.
Good morning. I would want to contribute in the program.
Please do. What's your name, Sava?
My name is Daniel.
Daniel. Yes, Daniel. Make your contribution in 20 seconds if you can.
I would like to say this just to Chris. It is very important that we understand that our personality derives how we contribute in society. And the trend that I see Chris is taking, there are two important people I would want to say. One is Andrew Mwenda, and there is the in charge of elections this guy in charge of elections in the NRM, Odoy. He is taking that trend. It's time really he observes what he does. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Daniel. People are giving you cancer. Hello, good morning.
No, when they abuse you, was nodding. Then I also abuse you back.
Hello.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Daniel.
Please reduce the volume on your TV set. We're getting feedback.
Yes, good morning, Joel.
Good morning. What's your name, sir?
My name is Derek calling in from Entebbe.
Derek. Talk to us, Derek.
One thing that I fail to understand about civil society organization, why do they think that they know everything? The second question is, why is it that some members of parliament were not manhandled? Thirdly, why do people think that their opinions matter a lot?
Like who?
Like civil society organization. I'm so disappointed in that lady.
Don't their opinions matter? Just like yours and just like Chris's and everybody else?
And they should give us an opportunity to express our opinions.
Are they denying you an opportunity to express yourselves?
Yeah,
Derek?
No, they are not denying us an opportunity, but when we express ourselves, they will always want to interject. You understand? Which is not good.
Okay, we get your point, Derek. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, I'll pick two more callers finally and I will wrap it up. Hello, good morning. There's feedback. Okay, we had to lose that caller unfortunately because of feedback. Let's pick one more. Hello, good morning. Hello. Yes, good morning.
Morning to you. This is Samuel.
Samuel, talk to us, Samuel.
Yes, now to be sincere, I'm disappointed with Chris Obore because he's showing the country that for you to benefit, you must disorganize other people in order to get something from the government, which is very.
What do you mean by that, Samuel?
Because initially I've been following Chris Obore before he got the job. He used to be so good, so nice to people. He used to talk genuine things, but abusing the government in order to get that job of his, which is very bad to us. So it means that if you want to benefit, you must make it to the government, give you a job, you keep quiet, and you start supporting him.
Okay, thank you for sharing that, Samuel. That will do for the calls. We need to wrap this up. My time is up. Of course, a couple of people are saying they're disappointed in Chris. Others are giving you counsel and so on. But Mugisha raises something interesting, Chris. He says that, look, when the speaker makes a ruling and you are... I thought we were done with the calls. Okay, we'll speak to you for 20 seconds. Good morning. What's your name, sir?
Joseph.
Your name is Joel?
Joseph.
Joseph. All right, Joseph. Talk to us in 20 seconds.
Joseph, my point is, I want to second the lady with her statement that Rule 75(4), I think, is very clear. When they suspend someone, they will be back. They will be suspended from the next sitting for 3 or whatever sittings the speaker will have ruled. However, I want to disagree with her on the fact that she wants to make it look like it's civil society that knows it all. You have the point, but the way you bring it out is it is all about you. What you know is the best. We have to listen to you. No, listen to the other party. Listen to what they have to say, and then consolidate and try to, I don't know whether you get my point, Joel.
We hear you, Joseph, totally.
And both of them, let them respect us, the viewers. You do not have to, Joel, that is as a speaker, try to moderate them. They do not have to make us, we are watching you. We are trying to enjoy the show. Give us let one of them speak and then the other speak.
Okay, thank you, Joseph. You have actually made my work easier. I think if they misbehave, I'll throw them out, but time is up. Anyway, so Chris, this person was talking about, if you are aggrieved with the speaker's ruling, you can appeal through a motion, and some folks in the opposition were trying to do that. They were barred from that.
What do you mean?
What do you mean by what do I mean?
Once the speaker has made a ruling and said members must exit the house, there is no debate on that.
Is it unchallengeable?
It is not challengeable. Is
that what the rules say?
Suspended for the next. If you think you have been suspended unfairly, the rules also provide how you can challenge that. Not
how
in
is
that sitting.
What do the rules say?
You can appeal to the speaker.
Appeal to the same person that made the ruling.
You see, what I'm telling you here is some of you cry, institutions are dead, institutions are not respected here. Part of the institution in this country is parliament and is headed by the speaker. If the law provides a speaker a course of action, and you who shout about institutions do not want to respect that, I have an issue with that one as well. I have an issue. Forget the one of saying he has got a job. That's Uganda. That's the pettiness of NGO world. Where was I supposed to work anyway? Am I not a citizen of Uganda to work? Good thing I'm not in NRM party. I'm in the parliament of Uganda, paid by the civil servant, the taxpayer of Uganda. So those who are angry with me working, when your government comes to the power, who should work in it? Those who don't believe with you, or those who agree with you? So that is nonsensical. I don't even bother about that one.
No, but respect their opinions. Disagree with it, but respect it. It's their opinion.
Then why don't they respect my choice? If they must respect the opinion,
are they saying they don't respect? They are just simply disagreeing with you.
No, don't be supportive of this.
No, I'm actually just trying to be balanced. I'm saying, look,
first of all,
you should be respected.
This one should respect
them too.
Freedom of expression, freedom of choice, freedom. I have a choice on who to work for or to work with, and it's not criminal to work in the parliament of Uganda.
But
so that is on the side. The issues are here substantively. Every action taken by the speaker was within the purview of the rules of procedure of parliament.
Okay.
And even previously, and I'm giving you background, the speaker has not only acted on this. It's not good to condemn her because this time it is not favoring one side. When members were being dismissed in the parliament at Travaillas, the speaker said no. She even provided them a sitting arrangement in that house. That lady you called Kadaga, you want now to blackmail, you now want to bring her reputation down, you now want to do. She's the one who stood out. And the country saw it against all our own party forces. She said no. There is no law. We are going to make me evict these members. They will sit here. Today she is saying, you are disrespecting my directives. I know we are members of parliament. Please first leave the house. You say, no, we are not leaving. She has nothing to do than to use the law.
Okay, let's quickly hear from Rona. Some folks think you civil society organizations are Mr. and Mrs. Know-it-all.
Well, everyone is entitled to their opinion. However, I'll still get back to you to say, once one is disrespected as much as he tried to do with me, I have a right to react. And if you begin questioning my background, when you completely know nothing about me, it angers me. And Joseph, who said, acting the way we did, I was provoked to respond the way I did. And I think as much as you want your opinions to be respected, my opinions equally must be respected. Getting back to the wrap-up you are requesting me to go with, we still say as civil society, we are not a know-it-all, but we observe. And we have a right to come in. This very government has registered NGOs whose mandate is to look into issues of democracy. And when they begin looking into issues of democracy, then the law is applied selectively on them. That's when he will say the manner in which they were arrested is not good, but they ought to have been arrested. What does that mean? We need to understand. When the law begins being applied selectively, then we have a problem.
Okay, let's just take a quick look. I'm coming back to you, Chris. But before that,
before it helps our point.
You see, the viewers are saying, respect the moderator. You don't want to respect the moderator.
I am begging you, Joel. Don't be biased. I'm just giving you Joel to Howard statement. Why must you think that when I ask you, thereafter, it means also have a bias.
But why am I saying that when you ask me, I must say yes?
Why did you invite me?
Okay, I've said yes.
Why did you invite me? Please.
No, but that doesn't mean that we should not be ordered.
Me. I have been in these studios. I've hosted these shows. I'm not completely stupid. But I'm here to give the public all sides. But you seem to be tilting issues. I'm not new in this thing.
You see,
what I'm saying.
We need to be orderly and give each person time enough.
You want to be respected, but you are defending the disrespect of the speaker. What hypocrisy is that one?
When did I defend the disrespect of the speaker?
That's what you seem to be defending here.
How?
I am telling you, there are members like Segona. He was told to vacate. Was he arrested? Was Munyago arrested? Are you aware? Was Honorable Nabeshi arrested? They respected the speaker and walked out. So sometimes you must be able to give people facts to make a decision.
Okay, we have gotten your facts.
Get the point.
Let's wrap it up this way, and I'm going to come back and wrap it up. There's some footage that we have of the clerk to Parliament pushing out the other security officers out of the house as the others raided Parliament. Let's just take a quick look at this. Okay, so there you are. We have got to wrap it up, and hopefully in a nice way. It's good to disagree and make a lot of noise, but you see, we are all Ugandans, and we all want this country to get better from wherever you sit. And so let me hear from you folks on a way forward. I'll begin with you, Chris.
Why?
Because you're very
I'm
important.
giving her the rights.
You have been here before.
I'm giving her the rights. No. Why?
And you
All
can't
right,
change.
let us
No,
start
no, no.
with her.
And you can't change because.
All right, since I cannot
said-
change,
wind up.
that will do for
For
this
today,
show.
yes.
Thank you, Chris Obore. Thank you, Rona Waitera, for joining us this morning.
And thank you for us telling
viewers
viewers not to be
for
hypocrites.
coming,
Being a
for
hypocrite.
being a part of this show. So that's it for today. That's it for the big story. My name is Joel Senyonyi. Good morning.